solid week for the Knicks leading up to this game. They swept the once proud Boston Celtics at New York and then at Boston. The Celtics are now struggling mightily to remain in the chase for the final playoff spot in the NBA's Eastern Conference. Not long ago, nothing short of championships was all that mattered in Boston, but those days are long gone. The Knicks proved that again. They did not rule the Garden, the Celtics, this night. In fact, all season long, they've had trouble winning there. Patrick Ewing coming off a huge 46-point night against Chris Ford and company. The previous night had 18 on this night. Anthony Mason running the floor beautifully and finishing it off there. 19 points, 12 rebounds, and the Knicks and Pat Riley were too much offensively for the Celtics, who have gone soft on defense. Derek Harper penetrating and finishing off right there. And the Knicks, with a 13-4 run in the third quarter, blew this game open. Anthony Mason going down the baseline for a reverse right there. And later, Greg Anthony able to put the Knicks up by 19 points here, penetrating on the dish from Herb Williams. It was 79-51 in the third. And Ewing was able to relax after watching Anthony Mason go inside and rebound, and the Knicks end up winning at 108-100. Hubert Davis had 22 points in the game for the New York Knicks. Now our Modell's scouting report on the Hawks. They are completely remodeled and not for the better right now. Only one player, Mookie Blaylock, is in the top 10 in any category among the NBA leaders. Marv Albert and John Andres are ready with the call of the game later tonight. Following Knicks game night, the dynamic duo has been camping out at the Omni in Atlanta, and now they have a preview. Marv?
All right, Mike, and they do expect in the area 14,000, one of the bigger crowds of the season here at the Omni for this matchup of two hot teams. The Hawks have won 9 of the last 13. The Knicks have taken 6 of their last 7. And, John, a good sign for the Knicks over the past 4 games, all victories. The Knicks have had 4 different scoring leaders.
It started with Anthony Mason's tremendous performance against the Chicago Bulls last week when they came from behind. And that kind of balance has spread right through the next 3 games as well. So this 4-game winning streak really has been characterized by balance, offensive balance of the team. And it has certainly helped them make it difficult for their teammate, for the other team. And, of course, when you look back before that, it was Patrick Ewing carrying the team. But now he's got a lot of help.
Now, the last time that the Knicks and the Hawks met here in Atlanta, it was some 3 months ago. In fact, John, by golly, to the day, December the 9th, actually 1 day away, to be precise.
You have a computer in your head, Mark.
I mean, we check these things out, the staff working on it at all times. And in that game, the Hawks won 89-85, a game that saw Mookie Blaylock nearly come up with a triple-double.
Mookie Blaylock has been sensational ever since he joined this team. And that night he got off to a great start with 10 points and 6 assists in the first quarter. And at one point in the game, he hypnotized the whole Knicks defense. He just dribbled right through them for that layup. Mookie also plays with the 6'8" Steve Smith, who he looks for underneath. The Knicks will be seeing a lot of that as Smith will post up. The three-point shot has been tremendous for Mookie Blaylock this year. That was with 39 seconds to go in the game here in Atlanta, and it gave them a 3-point lead. Mookie's already broke the team record for threes this year. In the game against the Knicks, though, it was 17 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists. Mookie is also second in the NBA in steals and 9th in assists overall. He's having a great year.
John, I don't want you to be startled. The lights have dimmed. We are awaiting the appearance, a very dramatic entrance of the home team, the Atlanta Hawks. When we come back in just a moment on Knicks game night, John will be chatting with John Starks. Now let's get back to Mike Crispino.
All right, thanks very much, Marv, and we will return with John Starks and John Andres. Starks certainly should be wondering, if Michael Jordan does come back, what that means to him come the playoffs this spring. We'll be back with more Knicks game night when we return here to our studios in New York on the MSG Network. The Knicks and the Hawks coming up in moments on MSG. Stay with us.
MCI friends and family customers, have you looked at your bill lately?
I'm with MCI and I have 9 calls on my bill and none of them are on my calling circle.
I have 23 calls on my bill and 3 of them are in my calling circle.
To get savings without the circles, switch to AT&T True Savings. There's no lists. It's simple. Call anyone, anytime, anywhere in the U.S. and save. Just call 1-800-PIC-ATT today.
I want it to be simple and no nonsense.
Switch for free.
Just call up and say, I want to switch back, and you're done.
Your true voice.
One engine was filled with Castrol Syn.
Some run out in 3 years. Some go for 4 years. Some for 5 years. And 2 continue for 6 years. Volkswagen is the only one that goes for 10 years or 100,000 miles. Lease a 95 Jetta GL with 0 down payment for $199 per month. See your local Volkswagen dealer for details.
When John Starks burst on the scene a few years ago, his confrontations with his heiress Michael Jordan certainly drew the attention of league observers. His explosiveness to the goal, his shooting from outside, his energy and his aggressiveness, which also helped to oftentimes almost neutralize Michael Jordan, and certainly made John Starks a one-time All-Star. We're going to talk about John Starks and his offense and the way he has played this season. His offense has been hurt a little bit by the shoulder injury, causing even more erratic shooting and scoring. He's averaging 15 points a game, 5 assists. His shooting percentage down near 41%, and that is not good enough for a 2-guard. But if the Knicks are going to challenge for the NBA title, they will need Starks to produce in crunch time. John Andres talked with John Starks at the Omni just moments ago.
Thank you, Mike. John, you've got the touch back. The last 3 games, you've been red hot, shooting over 61% from the game. I wanted to ask you, when you're looking at the basket, and I know you're such a fine shooter when you're really in the groove, what are you actually looking at when you're looking at the basket and ready to shoot the ball?
Well, it's not so much looking at the basket. I think is good rhythm. When I'm in good rhythm, you know, I really don't have to see the basket but a split second. You know, you look at the front of the rim and you just try to get the ball over the lip.
And so far, it's been going real good for you. Is your shoulder okay these days, John?
No, the pain is still there, and you know, if I get hit on it, I always feel sharp pain shooting through it. So, you know, like I said, I just have to be cautious when I'm out there and continue to get treatment on it.
John, over the last 4 games, the team has had 4 different leading scorers. You as one of the players, how do you feel about that? What do you think that does for the team?
Well, I think it's good because it takes some of the load off of Patrick, you know, to have him, depending on him to, you know, to score all the time. I think everybody's trying to contribute in that area, and I think it makes us a better effective team when the scoring is spread around.
John, last time the team was down here in Atlanta, because you only come here twice a year, as you know, it was a frustrating game. It was a 4-point loss for the team. After the game, in fact, you were having a difficult time. You said you were frustrated. You asked Pat to take you off the bench at that time. Does that memory come back for you to think about when you come back for this game tonight?
Not at all. That's in the past, and you know, I just let that go. You know, it was a frustrating time that I was going through. As you know, I was going through a terrible time at the beginning of the season, and you know, now I'm over that, and I'm not worried about coming off the bench right now.
John, also, Pat, after that game, said the team didn't have a road mentality. He was concerned about the performance of the team on the road. Since then, the team has been excellent on the road. What do you think is the reason for that?
Well, I think we have to understand that we have to pick it up on the road. I think we're going to win our number of share of games at home, but on the road, we have to be able to come in building with a lot of confidence, understanding that we're going to come out of here with a win when we step on our opponent's floor.
John, with the long shot working, your jumper's back in the groove, yet you have not been to the foul line much recently. In fact, over the last 7 games, is that something you think about now? You want to integrate more driving into your game? Actually,
before I came out, Coach pointed that out to me. So I guess I have to drive the ball a little bit more now and be able to get to the line. I think it helps us when I'm in the creases and creating things for my teammates as well as getting to the free throw line.
John, so far so good of late, and we wish you the best in upcoming games. Thanks for visiting.
Thank you, John.
Let's go back to Mike Crispino.
Thanks very much, John. And now, next up, the greatest to ever play the game, a potential future nemesis of John Starks of the Knicks, Michael Jordan. Some of his career numbers, amazing 32.3 points a game, 51% field goal shooting, 6 rebounds. He went over 50 on 34 different occasions, a 3-time MVP, one of 2 men to win the scoring title, 7 consecutive seasons. Wilt Chamberlain, the other to do it back in the 70s. When we return, we'll talk about Michael Jordan and his potential return to the NBA, what that could mean, what it certainly means to his teammates and some opponents. Jordan, baseball is out, but is b-ball back? Is he headed back to his first love? We'll find out as early as next week. Stay with us.
1,000 participants. Boxing is maybe 5th or 6th as far as fatalities go.
Is your goal to knock the man out?
My goal is to win. If I could get a knockout, it's a lot quicker. There's a lot of wear and tear on my body.
Right here on the next Page One, Bob Page. Hope you can join us then.
Welcome back to Knicks Game Night. Earlier this week, there was reason to believe that Michael Jordan would do what many thought he would never do, and that is come out of retirement and come back to basketball. Jordan worked out with the team, the Chicago Bulls, a couple of times this week, and all that needs to happen now is for Michael to make the official announcement, and that could come as early as Monday. His teammates and coach are hedging about the return at this point, but they're certainly ready to welcome him back with open arms should he decide.
I think Michael's going to probably sit down and have some confidential talks with the owner of this franchise, Jerry Reinsdorf, and perhaps Jerry Krause, and they'll make a decision on what's good for this basketball club and Michael Jordan at this time, and you know what the overall effect is going to have on this basketball club, what our chances are with him on this team. Yeah, we'll be excited, you know, in a week or two if you know, this thing does boil out to be, you know, Michael Jordan coming back to basketball. I think it'd be great for us. It'd be great for basketball. That's all I could say, but that's my own personal feeling. And I would say that the Bulls, from 1 to 13 or 15 or how many other people you can include in our team, they'd all say that, you know, we'd be really excited to have him back playing for us.
Well, definitely a distraction for us. You know, most of the players are just. I was asked earlier anyway, what it would be like to play with him, and that's the last thing we're thinking about. We're actually trying to maintain some focus, and you know, we've got to play the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight without Michael Jordan, and we've got to remember that and not get distracted by all the hype.
Jordan's imminent return has the whole country buzzing all the way to the White House. President Clinton, upon hearing air might fly again, added him to the list of accomplishments already produced by Clinton's administration.
As of today, the economy has produced 6.1 million jobs since I became president. And if Michael Jordan goes back to the Bulls, it'll be 6,100,001 new jobs.
You heard Luke Longley talking about the game between the Bulls and the Cavaliers tonight. While the Bulls await a Jordan announcement, they face the Cavaliers in Chicago. The Bulls at the 500 mark for the first time in just about a month, while the Cavaliers, a surprise all season, seem to be drifting down where they've lost 5 of their last 6 games and dropped 3.5 games back in the Central Division. Last night, San Antonio held off the Cavaliers 100-98 to keep pace with Utah. The Spurs now, within 3 games, just can't seem to catch up to the Utah Jazz. Sean Elliott able to beat the buzzer in this one. David Robinson in the clutch, 9 of his 26 points coming in the final 3 minutes. And wait till you see how they won this game. As Mike Fratello's team, the early Coach of the Year candidate, may be running out of mirrors now. It's late, and Sean Elliott able to penetrate inside. David Robinson, 96 apiece. At that point, Bob Hill looking on. Here's Robinson as he goes up, able to tie it at 98 apiece. Now with time running out, 1 second remaining, Doc Rivers to inbound, and he finds a man. It's Elliott able to bank it in. Cleveland loses at home. San Antonio's won 9 of their last 10. Look at it again. He got open. A great play called. And off the inbound, Sean Elliott with 19 points helped San Antonio win 100-98. The Nets are in Boston tonight to play the Celtics. The Nets dominated the series last season. They won 4 of 5 played between the two teams. They have split 2 so far. Both of them played in New Jersey. The Nets have stunned the league recently by winning 2 in succession. Charlotte Hornets forward Kenny Gattison, whose career was in serious jeopardy after a neck injury, forced spinal fusion surgery in November, has been given medical clearance by the team, and he expects to play again. The 30-year-old, a 9-year veteran, hopes to play again in time for this season's playoffs. When we return on Knicks Game Night, we'll have more NBA news. We'll have the starting lineups for both teams as the Knicks get set to play the Atlanta Hawks in the Omni in Atlanta. We'll have those lineups coming up in just a moment. Stay with us.
The NBA News Report is brought to you by the New York Times. Read what you like.
You started putting money.
To-the-minute delivery information 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You may never know where you'll be at any given moment.
Where am I? At
an airport.
But you'll always be able to track your package. UPS, moving at the speed of business.
Any faucet can turn on water. Kohler faucets give it shape. Change the flow. Once you turn on a Kohler faucet, you'll never want plain water again. The full line of Kohler products are available at these locations.
While every Plymouth Neon is born to be friendly, we've found a way to make them even friendlier. Get up to $600 cash back, plus up to $600 in package values for up to $1,200 off. Or get interest rates as low as 4.9%. All that and dual airbags make Plymouth Neon about as friendly as it gets. Say hello to Plymouth Neon. At the Preferred Option Sale, now at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
We'll be back, of course, at halftime to check in on what's going on around the NBA. And, of course, we'll recap what's been happening with the Knicks as they play Atlanta. That's coming up in moments. Let's take a look at the Chrysler probable starting lineups tonight. The power of the Knicks front line: Anthony Mason, Charles Oakley, and Patrick Ewing. Derek Harper and John Starks will be in the backcourt against the speed of the Atlanta Hawks starting lineup, which will be Grant Long. Andrew Lang will have all kinds of trouble with Patrick Ewing and Stacey Augmon. Blaylock, 8th in assists, and Steve Smith. Coming up next, the Knicks and the Atlanta Hawks from Atlanta. Stay tuned.
New York Knicks game night has been brought to you by Payne Weber. We believe our most important investment is an investment in relationships. And by McDonald's. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
The car on the right was filled with Castrol Syntec, a full synthetic oil, the other with conventional oil. They were then drained and started without oil to prove a point. You see, Syntec has a unique molecular structure that bonds to engine parts. Lab tests show it leaves a layer of protection far stronger than conventional oil. And if Syntec protects this well now, imagine if you leave it in. Castrol Syntec protects in ways other oils can't. Now, buy a case of Castrol Syntec and get an officially licensed NBA ball.
Hi, I'm Cam Neely. Welcome to my workout. Let's start with a little scrimmage. Hey, come on. 1 and 2. Keep those elbows down. Remember to breathe. Now you want to get yourself right in front of the net. You know you're doing it correctly if you feel it right back in here. Let's head to the gym. Move those blades. Come on. Pump it. Pump it. Stay with me. Breathe. Back to the ice. Now for a really good workout, try playing against a future Hall of Famer like Ray Bork. If you don't have a Ray Bork, just use whatever you have around the house.
Seen 4 different Knicks leading the way. On Wednesday was Hubert Davis sinking the Celtics in Boston by hitting 4 3-pointers, scoring 22 points. The previous night it was Patrick Ewing doing the damage with a season-high 46. Saturday in Cleveland, John Starks found the range to the tune of 29 points as his 7 3-pointers led the Knicks past the Cavs. And Anthony Mason began the roll as he played the Bulls by totaling a season-high 26 points. It's been 3 months since the Knicks last visited the Omni, and it was the Hawks who were soaring as Mookie Blaylock piloted Atlanta past the Knicks. Tonight, Pat Riley meets up with Lenny Wilkens, who has earned more victories than any coach in NBA history. Riley would refer to both as lifers. Their teams are coached by 2 of the best. We welcome you to the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia for the Knicks and the Atlanta Hawks meeting for the 4th and final time this season. Atlanta with a record of 29 up, 30 down. They're a half game behind Chicago as they jockey for playoff position. They're currently 7th in the Eastern Conference, while the Knicks at 39 and 19, they have won 4 in a row, 6 of the last 7, and they are 6 games behind Orlando. Hi, everybody. Marv Albert along with John Andres, and during the course of this good Knick run, there have been many standout performances by Knick players, and a guy who has emerged as a major force in a multifaceted way has been Anthony Mason, John, who appears to be a leading contender in laurels for 6th Man of the Year award.
No question about it, Marv. It started 4 games ago, really, this consistent high level of play against Chicago with that inspiring finish of that game at the Garden, led by Anthony Mason. And it continued right until Boston the other night. Beautiful right-handed drive at one point in the game. His versatility on offense is terrific. His defense was effective also against Dominique, and he ran the court with Greg Anthony for the trailer play, a play you rarely see these days. Mason is all over the court, it seems, and at one point in the game he had the move of the night for the Knicks, that reverse slam dunk against the Boston Celtics. Over the 4 games that you mentioned, he's over 17 points a game, an amazing 74% from the field, 11.5 rebounds a game, 4.5 assists a game, and Anthony Mason is just playing the best ball of his career now and showing no sign of let up.
And the Hawks have been going very well as of late. They have won 9 of their last 13 games, and a key during the course of this run has been the play of Stacey Augmon, who has been on a tear. And John, at 6'8", a very difficult matchup for the Knicks.
Yes, he's often playing at the guard position, as he has for much of the season, but also at the forward position. And now with Steve Smith, his teammate, he's been playing the forward position and doing a big job, skinny as he is, on the boards. Around the basket, he has been killing teams. He has tremendous tenacity. He works very hard. He's thin, but he works just as hard as Charles Oakley does, and he's very effective. He's above the rim a lot for those finishes, and the Knicks better think about him tonight. Right from the start, he's been showing teams all season long what he can do on the offensive boards. And over the last 5 games, it has been very, very impressive for Stacey. 20 a game, 57% from the field. His foul shooting is excellent. 7 rebounds, 3 assists. He has meant a lot to this team that has really turned the corner. The Hawks are playing much better basketball than they were in earlier meetings with the Knicks.
All right, so coming up, it's the New York Knicks and the Atlanta Hawks from the Omni. We'll be back with the lineups after this.
It's a little gem. Oh, he looks like a little person.
Every international fax your business sends. It's a service that'll help you solve just about any problem.
No, it's not the line, it's their fax machine.
So your fax will get there, guaranteed, only from AT&T, for the life of your business.
You are now free to operate all electronic devices.
What a hard-working bunch. And you're working harder than most. I've seen bigger screens on a calculator. Now, this is a nifty screen, but objects may shift during flight. And you're working too hard because, frankly, your hands are just designed wrong. Ooh, an IBM ThinkPad. See, now this is what it's like to fly first class.
Go ahead, it's my treat. Go ahead. My treat.
It's on me. No charge.
Sorry, I don't have exact change.
No problem. I do.
New York Lotto. Hey, you never know.
Go on, big fella. Your money's no good here. Go on.
New York Knicks basketball is brought to you by Beechwood Aged Budweiser. It's always been true, this Bud's for you. By The Card, the American Express Green Card. Don't leave home without it. By Nobody Beats the Wiz Home Entertainment Center. By Delta Airlines, the official airline of Madison Square Garden. And by Citibank, for banking anytime, anywhere, any way you choose. At Citibank, the city never sleeps.
Banner, home of the Well, John, a unique rendition of the national anthem by one of your favorite artists, Cody Flanagan.
It was a personal touch.
Yes, it was. A style of its own. And we are set for the introduction of the starting lineups.
Union, Charles Oakley. At center, 7 feet from Georgetown, Patrick Ewing. At guard, 6'4" from Illinois, Derek Harper. And at guard, 6'5" from Oklahoma State, John Starks. The trainer is Mike Saunders. Assistant coaches Jeff Van Gundy and Jeff Nix. And the head coach is Pat Riley. And now, Hawk fans, let's stand and cheer for your Atlanta Hawks starting lineup. At forward is 6'8" from UNLV, the Plastic Man, Stacey Oldman. At forward, he's 6'9" from Eastern Michigan, he's 6'11", out of Arkansas, Andrew Lang. At guard, he's 6'8", from Michigan State, Steve Smith. And at guard, he's 6'1", from Oklahoma, Mookie Blaylock. The trainers go through. Assistant coaches are Dick Helm and Brian Winter. And the head coach is Lenny Wilkins.
Well, this is the final meeting of the season between the Knicks and the Hawks. The Knicks winning 2 of the previous 3. The Knicks winning at Madison Square Garden in mid-November and early January. The Hawks won here, and in the previous 3 games, the Atlanta Hawks certainly had their problems shooting the basketball against the Knicks.
Yes, a tribute to the Knicks defense. Also, the Hawks have spent a lot of time getting used to each other, Marv. As you mentioned, it's been a few months since they met last. The Hawks are playing much better basketball these days. They're more together, particularly in the area of Steve Smith.
Knicks and Hawks have gone 2-2 against each other each of the last 3 seasons.
I'd like to congratulate Calvin Blakely Jr.
The Atlanta Hawks in their last game Wednesday night that was here at the Omni beat Denver 98-88, led by Ken Norman, who had 33 points in 26 minutes off the bench. And in the previous game, you mentioned the Hawks have been playing well recently. Last Sunday, tough loss in Orlando. They lost in overtime by 2 to the Orlando Magic.
Yes, it was a Dennis Scott 3-point shot with under a second that did it. But in the last one, as you mentioned, Marv, against Denver, they ended Denver's 4-game winning streak and held Dikembe Mutombo, I couldn't believe the numbers, to 3 points and 5 rebounds in that game. So they must have been doing some heavy boxing out.
The Knicks coming off the home-and-home sweep of the Boston Celtics, winning in Boston on Wednesday night, a game that saw the Knicks shoot 61% from the field. The officials, Dick Bavetta, Ken Bauer, and Bill Spooner. Andrew Lang will go on the opening tip against Patrick Ewing.
Lang replaced John Koncak in the starting lineup several games ago and has given him a lot more strength and output.
The Knicks controlling the opening tip. Derek Harper guarded by Mookie Blaylock. Anthony Mason picked up by Stacey Augmon. John Starks. The tip missed by Patrick Ewing. Ewing off the fake.
Well, Patrick didn't do it alone. He had a lot of help under there. Everybody competing for that loose basketball as John Starks showed his awareness of the importance of driving the basketball. That's how he opened the game.
And it will be John Starks guarding the big guard, Steve Smith. The other matchup, Stacey Augmon, who was opening at the forward position, being played by Anthony Mason. And Andrew Lang hits the outside shot. The game is tied at 2. Andrew Lang, who does occasionally go outside, but not usually an offensive threat. Shot clock running down. Lang with the rebound. Ogman. It counts. And the foul. So the man they call the Plastic Man, Stacey Ogman, will go to the free throw line.
Ogman runs the court well with or without the basketball, and his 6'8" frame is a little too much for John Starks' reach.
Foul on Starks. 3-point play for Ogman. And the Hawks with a 5-2 lead. That's a 3. So John Starks hitting from downtown. John did not get that much playing time in the game Wednesday night in Boston. It was a wipeout. Actually, his services were not needed, and Hubert Davis caught fire. So Starks, who had been shooting well in the previous 2 games, only 4 of 7 for 9 points. Here's Ogman. Rebound swept by Ewing.
John Starks, Marv, in the prior 3 games against Atlanta, is shooting a combined 8 for 32. He has not had a big game against the Atlanta Hawks this season.
And Lang is called for the foul. So Patrick Ewing will go to the foul line. John Starks also had a memorable game back on December 9th here in Atlanta. Not good memories, though. Not a game that featured much controversy.
Well, John shot the ball poorly, for one thing. He was 4 for 14 in that game. And there was controversy between him and Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley. And after the game, John, expressing his frustration loudly, said, "I'm going to talk to the coach about not starting me the next game," which is what happened, although Pat Riley said it was his call, not John Starks' call, that resulted in that. John has cooled down, though, and really turned the corner lately.
The Knicks with a 1-point lead. 2 minutes gone by. Blaylock for 3. Mookie Blaylock hitting from downtown. Blaylock with the steal.
The Hawks are too solid defensively for Ewing to continue to dribble the ball. As a result, Stacey Ogman again finishing the play after that turnover. Patrick had 7 turnovers against the Hawks in the game here in Atlanta. He cannot proceed his move to the hoop by dribbling all the time.
So the Hawks are up 10-6. Ewing. Wild shot by Ewing. Oakley rejected. Kept alive by Ewing. It's a 24-second violation. So if Atlanta will take over on the 24-second violation. Atlanta Hawks have won 9 of the last 13. That is since February the 6th. They've won 5 of their last 7 games. And a hand check foul on Harper. Come almost a traditional call on Derek, at least 1 per game, usually early, and then you might not see it the rest of the way.
He's playing against a very tough man, Mookie Blaylock. Not heralded, but one of the best guards in the NBA, and Derek knows it.
Smith firing. Rebounded by Ewing. Harper going all the way.
How's that for a response to a tough man?
The Hawk lead is 2. Smith looking for the step and gets it. And then try to set up down low. Last touch by the Knicks. And the Hawks will have 6 on the 24.
Over the last 8 games, Steve Smith has also, like Ogman, been a very high scorer, over 17 a game over that period.
Smith with the shot clock rolling down. Lang had it punched away. And here's Starks with Mason. And Anthony Mason from John Starks.
Oh, what a great pass by Starks.
So the Knicks have tied the game at 10. And it's against Smith, an offensive foul.
John Starks' aggressiveness defensively created that play, and that response by Smith, who committed the foul.
Lang stepping out on a switch, and then gets back to Ewing. Starks for three. Here comes Augman. Grant Long handling, being guarded by Patrick Ewing. Augman.
That's the part of his game that he's working on. If he gets that jump shot down, he will be potentially an NBA All-Star, because he does everything else so well except shoot from the perimeter.
Here's Long. It counts, and the foul. Potential three-point play.
Grant Long, such a reliable player, but boy, did he run the court and get the Knicks in transition on that play. Tremendous play by the Hawks in pushing the ball.
You know, you make the point about Stacey Augman. You say if he gets that part of his game down, it is so unlikely for that to happen. Can you recall anyone who's come in as a fair shooter, a mediocre shooter? You'd have to call him mediocre, although he does have other terrific skills. That's a three-pointer for Harper. And the Knicks now lead by one, but I can't think of a guy who's been able to change that phase of his game. If he doesn't have it, you rarely see dramatic improvement. And Smith hits on a three. The Hawks lead by two.
Well, what you want, Marv, is to be a threat and be respected. You don't have to be excellent, but I think in the case of, say, Anthony Mason, he has become better. Not dramatically better, but there's a shot there now that wasn't there in the first year or two in the NBA.
But I won't compare that, because he hardly goes to the jump shots, an occasional baseline shot, but he has improved. Smith again drills the three, and the Hawks now lead 18-13. But what you hope in a case of a guy like Augman is that the shot selection is wise, so he doesn't hurt you by taking too many of those outside pops. Timeout taken by the Knicks. Orlando Magic, they thought in the final seconds they might pick up some ground this past Sunday, but that Dennis Scott last-second shot defeated the Atlanta Hawks in overtime, 113-111. The Hawks are playing very well in that ball game. So the Knicks are 6 games behind Orlando coming into tonight. The Magic playing at home against Portland. Holding foul is indicated.
Oakley had the position on Steve Smith, who was along for the ride, and he tied up Oakley, committing the foul as Patrick Ewing saw Charles and wanted to get him the ball. The Knicks are going to have to be very intense on the enemy court here tonight, Marv. The Hawks are looking highly competitive and tough.
And Steve Smith sitting down, replaced by Ken Norman, who had the big game on Wednesday against the Denver Nuggets. Starks, yes, and it counts. John Starks with a hard driving move, and Lang picks up the foul.
As you know, Marv, we talked to John on Knicks game night. I asked him about driving the ball. He has not been to the foul line in the last 7 games until now. And I said, John, is that on your mind? He said, that's what Coach Riley told me before I came out to shoot. Tonight I've got to drive the ball, and he's doing it.
Hawks 18 and the Knicks 16 with 5.5 remaining in this opening quarter. Laylock slicing his way through, rebounded by Mason. And Mason getting it down for Oakley. Tried the touch pass that was broken up.
Atlanta substitution number 22.
Most most unusual numbers from John Starks. He has made more three-point shots this season than two-point shots. And as we mentioned a moment ago, has not gone to the foul line until a moment ago over the last 7 games.
22nd timeout is taken by Lenny Wilkins of the Hawks. Looks like Mookie Blaylock shaken up. Trainer Joe O'Toole checking it out.
That's a man they can't afford to have out of the lineup. Blaylock plays a lot of minutes for the Atlanta Hawks. He is invaluable, not only because of his leadership, but also his rebounding and scoring. Plays 38 minutes a game, plus actually 0.4 more than any other member of this team.
Mookie had a triple-double on Sunday on the game against Orlando, the 6th of his NBA career. The only other Hawk in the history of the franchise to come up with a triple-double, fellow by the name of Doc Rivers, as Starks knocks it down. And the Knicks take a 1-point lead. Doc did it 4 times for Atlanta.
Boy, that's amazing to think that Dominique Wilkins, who rang up so many numbers here, didn't have one.
Wild shot attempt by Cadillac Anderson, who just checked in.
See the Hawks so alert with their hands. They're challenging passes. They're challenging shots.
Harper for 3. Beautiful ball movement by the Knicks. The ball being whipped around. They still had 7 on the 24 when Harper released the shot.
You wear out the defense with that patience and ball movement.
Starks with the steal. Starks. Yes. Another 3 for John Starks. And the Knicks lead 25-18. With 4 minutes remaining in this first quarter. That's a 3-point attempt. Blaylock able to rescue. And Norman fired. Oakley just did overthrow Mason. 9 unanswered points by the Knicks over the last 2 minutes. Here is Norman for 3.
Norman's had some hot streak lately. Also against Denver the other night, 14 out of 21 from the field in only 26 minutes.
Anthony Mason. And the Knicks now lead 27-21. Knicks have hit 5 out of 7 from 3-point land, and the Hawks 4 of 6. And back comes Mason. Ewing being played now by Anderson. Ewing. Anthony Bonner getting set to come on for the first time as Blaylock hits. The Knicks lead 27-23.
Blaylock's so tough because he'll drive around you, and if you don't give him a lot of pressure, he'll shoot the jumper and make it.
Ewing, yes. Second field goal for Ewing. He has 5 points. John Starks, the high man for the Knicks, with 12. And back comes Mason. We're seeing Anthony Mason handle the ball more and more frequently. He represents the Knicks' best hope for a fast break. He is actually a one-man fast break.
Pat Riley cited that the other night as we see a return to that Boston Celtic move by Mason, but it didn't have the finish. Fortunately, Oakley was there for the rebound.
Foul is called on Anderson. Timeout being called by Atlanta.
Next is Lady. Exceptional sheen. Oh, very good color. Prince. Hands. Oh, such stateliness, such majesty.
Mary.
taste that won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light.
The best of show? More?
My father started out to be a banker and ended up an innkeeper. I think people fantasize with travel. They envision the broad credit privileges throughout the world, and the American Express corporate card was the best for us to select.
The American Express corporate card is welcomed at lots of places that make you feel at home.
It is a world of total confidence. It is Avalon. It is smooth acceleration from a powerful V6 with stability and maneuverability that goes beyond the expected. For the most refined ride of any Toyota ever, Avalon, the new flagship from Toyota. Experience the tranquility.
Knicks have gotten a hot hand in the last couple of minutes. Excellent shooting from John Starks. Mason getting into it now. Wednesday in Boston, Mason goes baseline. Nobody stops him on that front line of Boston, and that was a reverse slam. A moment ago, Mason in a similar position goes baseline, goes up for the finish. Cannot get it done, but Charles Oakley right there for the offensive rebound.
The Knicks have hit 11 of 22 from the field in this first quarter and 5 of 7 from downtown. Atlanta 9 of 19. Charles Oakley to the free throw line with just under 2 minutes to go in this first quarter, and the Knicks up by 6 points. One-liners being exchanged by Len Wilkins and Patrick Ewing. Couple of knee slappers.
Two guys who you just never see smile during a game, and
two guys who really can yuck it up.
I hope you enjoyed it, Mark, because you won't see it again tonight.
Knicks 31 and the Hawks 23. Laylock working against Harper. Norman. That's a three-pointer for Norman, so the Hawks, like the Knicks, have hit 5 out of 7 from downtown. Look at that edge off the boards. And Ewing shaken up.
Can't tell whether it's the hand, the wrist which he's holding, or his leg.
Mike Saunders over and tells Pat Riley he is all right.
Mike, you can see Patrick falling down. Mike responding to someone who would be most interested in Patrick. Patrick slipping. You can see that on the wet spot on the floor. So much perspiration out there. Sometimes it goes unnoticed.
Apparently landed on his left shoulder. Herb Williams has replaced Patrick Ewing. A minute 15 remaining in this first quarter. Norman changed his mind. And a pushing foul has been called. Foul committed by Bonner. Prior to the game, during the pregame warm-ups, talking to Hawk players and certainly in chatting with various members of the Atlanta media in the press room earlier, everyone asking, have you heard anything later about Michael Jordan, which has direct impact on both rosters in this building. But there is nothing later to report. Everyone waiting for the official word.
And none of the Knicks willing to talk about it either in our game night performance. John Starks wouldn't comment. I know Pat Riley didn't want to comment on it before the game. Don't want to be distracted by the ever-present Michael Jordan, who hasn't made it official yet either.
That was last touched by Hubert Davis, who just checked in. The way things are at this moment, if the season ended today, John, it would be Knicks and Bulls in the first round of the playoffs. Foul is called on the inbounds play. It's Bonner. Called for his second. It would be number 3 against number 6 in terms of the seedings in the Eastern Conference. And that would be an opening round between New York and Chicago.
You got to figure if Chicago and Atlanta are vying for that 6th spot, which team is going to get better in the rest of the season. You got to assume that Jordan's certainly going to make Chicago better, and it looms more and more like that would be the Knicks' first-round opponent.
What's your feeling as to how far he could take Chicago at this point? Different club. Horace Grant, obviously now in Orlando, still a big missing part of the whole Chicago scheme. Tony Kukoc added to the mix.
He takes pressure off every position so much that I think it's a limitless potential, Marv. He just takes pressure off the big men. Herb Williams, who started a game against the Hawks this year when Patrick Ewing sat it out in New York and had a good game, pitched that jump shot.
Final seconds of the first quarter. Long from outside. It cuts it to a 3-point lead on the follow by Norman. And at the end of one here at the Omni, it's the Knicks 33 and the Hawks 30. With the Knicks bench, and it is strictly a bruise on the left shoulder. He hurt his shoulder when he landed, but he is all right and will return. Dick Pavetta, who does not need a microphone. Yes. Wait a second. Dick, just put the headset on if you want to chat. What's the call here, Dick?
We got a problem with the 24-second clock. We're going to go with a manual keeper at the table who will announce for both teams 15 seconds, 10, and 5.
Right.
I do have a SAG card, by the way.
The check will be in the mail. Thank you, Dick. Point.
I figured if he had the mic, I got to hold the basketball.
Yes,
it's only fair.
Just a rare cameo for Dick Pavetta.
I did encourage him before the game to give us a walk-on, but I didn't think he'd really take it literally.
And I'm ridiculous enough to say take the headset.
He was shy, wasn't he?
All right, Norman opens up this second quarter, and he's tied the game at 33. Greg Anthony in the backcourt now with Hubert Davis, Anthony Mason, Herb Williams, and Anthony Bonner up front. Mason's pass was rejected, knocked out of bounds. Last touch by the Hawks. So it is Nick Ball with 10 on the 24. Anthony fires. Bonner getting to the rebound. And taken by Anderson. With a 10-2 run the last 2 minutes and 15 seconds going back to the first quarter. Blaylock. And apparently last touched by the Knicks. The Hawks maintain possession and get a new 24. The Knicks in the first quarter, 12 of 23. Good shooting. 52% from the field. And Atlanta 11 of 24 for 46%. Knicks with the edge off the board, 17-7. So despite that, only a 3-point lead. Not bad from the Atlanta point of view.
Pat Riley going with the bench right now early in the game. No starters out there.
Anderson with the rebound again. Here comes Blaylock.
Blaylock, an excellent dribbler, trying to pick apart the Knicks defense, going from the middle of the court to the left side, finally settling on the long shot, which he has done so well this year.
7 points for Blaylock. Hawks by 3. Marv Albert, John Andres, maybe joined again by Dick Pavetta a bit later on from the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia. Crowd of in the area of 14,000. Capacity here is 16,368. They've had only 2 sellouts at the Omni. This area, incidentally, a hotbed of basketball over the weekend with the SEC tournament taking place at the Georgia Dome. Atlanta Hawks with the second lowest home attendance. Clippers at the bottom. Davis had to fire that up with the shot clock running down. Terrific game this afternoon. 1-point victory. Arkansas knocking off Vanderbilt. Earlier today, Vanderbilt coached by Jan Van Bredekamp. Ken Norman has done damage again coming off the bench.
Big turnaround now for the Hawks, and the Knicks are having a major problem. The Hawks are shooting the ball well, and the Knicks are being contested in excellent fashion by the Hawks defenders.
5-point lead for Atlanta. It's their first lead since they were up 18-16 in the first quarter. Well, the Knicks will be back at Madison Square Garden tomorrow night, facing the Seattle Supersonics. Game night at 8. That's a later starting game. 8:30 start. That'll be tomorrow night at Madison Square Garden. Seattle, second in the Pacific Division. They have won 39 and lost 19, so they have the identical record of the Knicks. And Seattle in New York waiting for the Knicks. They're not scheduled tonight.
Played last night in Charlotte and ran into a hot shooting Del Curry in the closing moments of that game and lost.
Enos Watley, who just checked in with the steal and the bucket. Enos Watley on a 10-day contract. The guy has played for 7 different teams. So the Atlanta Hawks with a 40-33 lead.
Riley reaching into the bench now to bring some starters back.
All right, Bill Spooner says, my fault. He was about to give the ball to Atlanta and trying to show he made an honest mistake. He thought he was going to get
sky
killed.
falling on him.
Patrick Ewing is back, as is John Starks. Anthony for 3. Knicks without a field goal the last 5 minutes, and the Hawks keep rolling. Cadillac Anderson extends to a 42-33 lead, and the Knicks calling for time. The Knicks have not been able to hit at all in this second quarter. They have not scored in 3 minutes and 40 seconds, and they are down by 9.
I travel the country as a makeup artist. I write for magazines, teach makeup professionally, work on photo shoots. BOCES tests gave me the training to get that competitive edge.
Who would have thought that I'd be traveling around the world teaching people about leading-edge technology, going to a nuclear power plant, submarines. The education that I got at BOCES was really the basis for the career that I have today.
BOCES Tech Centers, the power to succeed.
9-point lead here. They've gotten hot, and the Knicks are cold.
14-0 run by Atlanta, and stretch that a bit further. They've outscored the Knicks 19-4.
Good shot by Ewing, but they're just not falling now.
Knicks 0 for 7 in this second quarter with 8:20 remaining. Steve Smith feeling for John Starks. An illegal defense called against the Knicks. So that is the warning. Well, Ken Norman has come off the Atlanta bench and hit 5 out of 6 from the field for 13 points. He is the high man for the Hawks, so he's done it again. He did the job against Denver on Wednesday night. 33 off the bench in a hurry. Norman with the ball guarded by Oakley.
Hawks go to a lot of isolation with their advantage in size.
And a loose ball foul against Atlanta. Don Anderson, his second. Here's Derek Harper checking back in. So the Knicks will have Harper and Starks in the backcourt with Ewing, Oakley, and Bonner up front. Tyrone Corbin on the floor for the first time. Ewing rejected by Anderson. And back comes Norman. Lost it. Good play by Bonner. Recovered by Smith. And the Hawks able to regroup. Watley being played by Hopper. Enos Watley in his 9th NBA season out of Alabama. Shot clock at 5. They isolate Smith against Starks. Here's Smith. A 16-0 run by the Hawks, who lead 44-33.
Boy, Smith has to be driving Starks crazy. Runs down court and then starts looking in his eye right away. And finally, the Knicks break that streak, that scoreless streak, with Ewing with the short jump shot.
Nine-point lead for the Hawks. Hopper called for the foul. Hubert Davis back.
New York substitution, number 44, Hubert Davis.
Knicks need some forward contribution. It can't just be the guards and Ewing. Charles Oakley's got to step it up a little bit offensively, participate in there.
Do it! Do it!
Norman again on fire. The Knicks went 6 minutes and 47 seconds without a field goal. They went 5-13 without scoring. Davis, Hubert's been off.
He's shooting over a 6'8" man in Steve Smith. The Knicks have got to move the ball like they did briefly earlier. Again, isolation, post up by Steve Smith. He's too tall for Hubert Davis on shots like that.
10 points for Smith, and the Hawks with a 14-point advantage. The Knicks hitting a severe drought in the second quarter. Loose ball foul charged to Oakley.
The Knicks are shooting rush shots even when they can just get them off. They're just happy seemingly to get a shot up without too much obstruction. They're not concentrating on breaking down the defense of the Hawks, which only comes with passing, and lots of it.
And a blocking foul is called. That upsets Pat Riley. He was looking for the call of a charge. Foul on Hopper. That is his 3rd. Combination that Lenny Wilkins has on the floor right now has done the job. Watley, Smith in the backcourt. Anderson with Norman. Corbin up front. Smith handled by Anderson and knocked away. Last touch by the Knicks. Charles Oakley checking back in.
Nice job by Hubert Davis on that last shot attempt by Steve Smith. He was up on him, waving the arms, distracting him.
Oakley, Mason, and Ewing on the floor, along with Starks and Davis. But Derek Hopper sitting down after picking up his 3rd. Here's Starks. Yes! What a move by John Starks. But he's called for a travel. Won't count.
He took 2. Well, you'll see this. John took 2 steps in the middle of the dribble. Actually looked like 3.
As I said, what a move by John Starks. Coming up on 5 minutes remaining in the first half. And a foul is called against Starks. That is 2 for John. 16 unanswered points at one stretch for Atlanta. And the Knicks not able to hit. They went 6 minutes and 47 seconds without a field goal, so they are in a hole, down by 14. Norman with a nice pass for Blaylock.
The Hawks are playing with more energy than the Knicks are. The Knicks are getting distracted now with their own imperfections as John Starks talks to Dick Pavetta all the way up court. Smith is driving John Starks crazy, not only with his play, but he's glaring at him and distracting him.
It was the best first date I ever had. And she's crazy about me.
I couldn't stand him.
8-4-4. Those trips are a lot of fun for fans who have been on them before. Tickets and entertainment. Of course, Chicago will be special if the news continues to flow in the direction of Michael Jordan.
Shot clock is down to 2. It was deflected out though by the Hawks, so they'll put some time back on the 24. Knicks maintain possession. Atlanta in the midst of a 21-2 run. They've hit 9 for 14 from the field over that span. At one stretch, the Knicks missed 8 consecutive shots. Dick Pavetta over at the scorer's table to indicate 1 second remaining on the 24. The Knicks 1 of 11 in this second quarter. So 1 on the shot clock. And now the Knicks get a new 24. Starks. Anderson with the rebound. Rick Cadillac Anderson has done a good job coming off the bench. 4:20 remaining in this first half. Smith getting position on Starks.
The steady diet of isolation with the Hawks going to the advantage they have from the guard position, from the shooting guard position. The advantage of height and size, and they keep striking at it.
And it's a 24-second violation.
It's very important for the Knicks to deny, as they just did. Then the Hawks will not have any flow in their offense because they're continually going to their post-up guard, Steve Smith.
Ewing. Patrick Ewing not able to get going. 3 of 11 from the field.
Hawks are sending it 4 men to the boards also to rebound, and the Knicks aren't responding accordingly as they're trying to be aware of the transition defense responsibility.
Norman. And Mason will take it by himself. The Hawks have won 9 of the last 13. They've played well as of late. The good ball.
That is so much fun to watch, and the Knicks had fun on that sequence. Pat Riley's got to hope that they remember and keep repeating it.
We saw that occur once in the first quarter, and the end result was a field goal, and they do it again here. But the Knicks are down by 14 points. Blaylock. What a pull-up by Mookie. Try to go glass. Here comes Starks. Puts the spin. Gets it off to Mason. And the Knicks showing some signs and hearing it from a large Knick portion of the crowd.
Well, they've had a couple of stops now on the defensive end and have made something out of it at the other end in successive moves.
And the ball back to the Knicks with 2:29 remaining first half. Lenny Wilkins not pleased about the last 3 sequences. The Hawks now lead by 12. Andrew Lang is back replacing Cadillac Anderson. Did a good job off the boards. Anderson signed as a free agent earlier this season. Ewing with the drop step. Comes back to Davis. And Hubert Davis with his first field goal.
A couple of breaks, as you said, Marv. Comes back to Hubert. It was just an aggressive move to get that ball loose by the Knicks on the boards, and Davis made the most of it.
So a run for the Knicks, 6 consecutive points. Lang. And again, the Knicks want to run. Starks. Nice play by Blaylock, and it leads to Starks coughing it up.
And the shoulder. He comes up holding the left shoulder. Continuing to bother him as it did on that play. Oh, that's a setback for John.
He's had problems with that partial dislocation, although As we talked about earlier, he's had a couple of good shooting games. Pretty feed from Blaylock, setting up Lang. The Hawks had gone scoreless for 3 minutes and 10 seconds prior to that field goal. The Hawks now lead 53-41. Starks, well, testing the shoulder, and it's apparently just fine as he hits another three-pointer.
Well, he showed such visible pain, and Pat Riley didn't even think about taking him out, and he was justified certainly with that finish by John.
Blaylock, and it's a 3-second violation. Basket won't count. So the Knicks have made a move here in the final minutes of the second quarter after missing their first 8 shots from the field. We're just under a minute remaining in the quarter, and the Knicks are now down by 9 points.
John did tell us on game night in our pre-game talk that his shoulder does hurt him. Hubert Davis, nice pitch back from Ewing.
It's a 7-point lead, but Blaylock able to get down. The Knicks are beaten on the transition.
That drove Pat Riley crazy. She reflected in his response.
Hawks 55, the Knicks 46, with a half-minute left in the first half. Starks try to follow it up, try to knock it away from Lang.
John said as long as he gets his treatments, he's okay with that shoulder, and he showed it by hitting that jump shot.
Hawks looking to hold for a final shot. 2-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. Oh, Mason swiping at the ball in aggressive fashion. Steve Smith had some words for Anthony Mason. A foul is called.
Smith has a way of getting under people's skin. He does a lot of talking.
And it's a flagrant.
Number 8, Steve Smith at the line, shooting the technical free throw.
Now we're checking, was it a flagrant or a technical? Apparently a technical foul was called. A technical on Mason.
Steve Smith at the line, shooting 1.
Steve Smith now on the play, guarded by Mason, driving to the basket. Mason swiped at the ball.
So Smith to the line now off the personal foul called on Mason. 8 seconds to go in the first half. Steve Smith, who was acquired from Miami in that deal involving Kevin Willis and Grant Long. Hopper is back, as is Greg Anderson, checking back in for the Hawks.
Smith really turned it around against his old team on January 30th. He had been coming off the bench for the Hawks until that point. They were in a game where they were down by 20 in the fourth quarter. Steve Smith got red hot, and they won the game. He's been in the starting lineup ever since that game in Miami on January 30th.
Final seconds of the half. Pass behind Mason. And that is the end of the first half. The Hawks with a 57-46 lead on the Knicks. The Knicks with only 13 points in the second quarter. And the combination of Blaylock and Smith doing it for Atlanta. 12 points for Smith, 12 for Blaylock. Mike Crispino coming up in a moment at the MSG Sports Desk.
Catch the highlights from the Evian Indoor AVP Pro Beach Volleyball Championships Sunday on MSG.
Last year sold out. Universal Tool of Mastic, Long Island's leader in tool sales, service, and rentals, is proud to bring you the leader in power tools, Bosch Power Tools. They let you cut quicker, drill faster, and they have the best jackhammer in the world. Bosch is the name real pros use, and Universal Tool is where they go to get Bosch toughness, Bosch reliability, Bosch power. And remember, Universal Tool delivers, located in Mastic and their new location in Farmingdale. Call 420-1420.
Cool Rock.
Orlando by 6 games when they started the night, despite being 20 games over 500. Shaq and company hosting the Blazers at the O-Arena tonight, and Urkel was on hand, an NBA fan of some renown, watching Penny Hardaway going 1-on-4 against the Blazers to smash it down, and Orlando led it 41-31. Later, Shaq showing off the jump hook, another one of the weapons in his amazing arsenal. He had 12 at halftime. Otis Thorpe led Portland with 10, a 6-point 49-43 lead for Orlando and Shaquille O'Neal. Michael Jordan will meet with Chicago Bulls management this weekend and make a decision on returning to the team and the NBA as early as next Monday. The Bulls are happy to hear that Jordan officially retired from baseball today. It's his second retirement in 2 years. CBA News, the Rockford Lightning have named former NBA All-Star Ralph Sampson as a player coach. Back with more from the Sports Desk after this.
Sports Desk is brought to you by Alamo. There are over 4 million miles of road in Alamo territory, and with Alamo, all those miles are free. There are over
22 as now they get ready to play Georgetown and their fabulous freshman Allen Iverson.
I think that he's, in my opinion, as talented a player, if not the most talented player in 9 years that I've been in the league. He's got the package athletically, but I mean, I've never seen anybody quite so fast and so quick since Isaiah Thomas. I mean, he's got that type of abilities, and he shoots the ball. I mean, people talk about his range being only fair. I mean, he's a kid. I mean, as he gets stronger, he's going to be scary.
Georgetown overwhelmed Miami earlier today. They'll play Connecticut. And congratulations to Colgate. They earned their first ever NCAA tournament bid. Back to the Omni after this.
Long Island diamond prices. My dad got my mom's ring here.
Long Island Diamond saves you a lot of money.
We got the diamond we wanted at the price we wanted.
Long Island Diamond has a world-class selection of all sizes, shapes, and price ranges.
Remember this.
The Atlanta Hawks with a 57-46 lead on the New York Knicks. We welcome you back. Marv Albert with John Andres as we check out the leading scorers, brought to you by Eagle. Test drive an Eagle at your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealer, or call 1-800-2-TEST-EAGLE. Well, the Hawks led off the bench by Ken Norman in 16 minutes, 6 of 13. He had 4 from downtown, 16 points in all. 12 apiece for Steve Smith and Mookie Blaylock. 4 of 8 for Smith. Blaylock 5 of 10, each with 2 from three-point range. And for the Knicks, only one man in double figures, John Starks, in 19 minutes, 5 of 11, 4 of 8 from three-point land. He had 15 points in all. Anthony Mason, 4 of 5 for his 8 points. Derek Harper, 3 out of 3, had 2 three-pointers. The Knicks shooting only 40% and change. Went through that long drought period and were fortunate to get back in the game with some good shooting in the latter stage of the second quarter.
Yes, the Knicks flexed their muscles earlier, and then the Hawks really got it going. The Hawks play consistently tough defense, led by Lenny Wilkins, who changed this team's way of playing last year when he was the NBA Coach of the Year, and they won their division. But the Knicks have got to counter with similar defense as they have throughout, but not enough.
And the Hawk defense has been improved recently. Always looking for the steal, always very dangerous.
The best moments for the Knicks on offense were early. John Starks, who made 4 threes in the first half, hitting the long jump shot. He got into the flow quickly. Knicks had moments of good passing, and Mason triggered some passing with Hubert Davis participating, with Ewing passing it in and out, and the move down the middle, and Mason had a slam dunk after some patience by the Knicks. Steve Smith, very bothersome to the Knicks in the first half. Smith with those 12 points in the first half, shooting from long range as well. Tough competitor. And Norman, the point-to-man minute for the Hawks in the first half was just a tremendous help around the boards, as well as with his outside shooting.
So as we head to the third quarter, the Knicks are down 57-46. We'll be back in a moment.
Person needs to send resume to New York. Wants to make a big impression.
Prove your cash flow. It pays to discover. Accepted wherever you see the Novus Network sign.
I'm going camping this weekend, and I love it. And I hate camping. If I want to sleep on dirt, I wouldn't vacuum. Fresh air, birds, trees, snakes, bears, poison ivy.
It's funny how two people can look at the same thing differently.
You stand in the clean, clear water and catch your own dinner. Well, you stand in the freezing cold water and catch pneumonia.
To some, this is a great tasting imported beer. And to others, it's a great tasting light beer. Either way, it's Amstel Light.
It's beautiful. You're out there in the middle of nowhere. It stinks. You're out there in the middle of nowhere.
New York Knicks basketball is brought to you in part by the United States Postal Service. We deliver smart solutions for you. And by Mobile, the station that helps you by accepting more credit and ATM cards than any other station.
Back at the Omni, the Atlanta Hawks with the lead over the Knicks as we get set for the third quarter. The Knicks only 41% from the field in the first half, 18 of 44. Patrick Ewing had a 3 of 12. And the Hawks 22 of 46 for 48%. Three-point range, both clubs looking for the threes. The Knicks hit 6 of 14, led by John Starks, and the Hawks also firing them up from three-point range. And the rebounding department, the Knicks with the edge, 26-18.
A Toyota matchup featuring Derek Harper, Mookie Blaylock. Blaylock consistent against the Knicks this year. 12-point first half, shot the ball well, 5 assists. Derek Harper close, but not close enough, you know, from his vantage point against one of the outstanding players in the backcourt in the league. John Starks with fans here in Atlanta.
Dueling for affection. Sure, John really appreciates the aggressive approach on the part of his fans. You got to break it up, didn't you, John?
That's right.
Third quarter is underway. The Knicks with only 13 points in the second quarter. That is one off their season low. Well, Grant Long had a quiet first half, adds to the Hawk lead. They're up now by 13. Long with only 4 points, did not have a rebound in the first half. The Knicks with Starks and Harper at the guards. Ewing, Mason, Oakley up front.
That's a stranger number as Charles Oakley had in Boston the other night in 38 minutes with only 2 rebounds. Grant Long is a very tough rebounder, and you almost have to think something's wrong when you see that kind of statistic with Long with no rebounds in 15 minutes of the half.
Altman off the recovery, challenged Ewing, and he's called for the offensive foul. So Stacey Augmon committing his first. The Knicks on the road 17-12. They've won 12 of the last 16 away from home.
Knicks making an attempt now to move that ball like they did on occasion in the first half.
illegal defense called against the Hawks for the first time.
Here's the defensive man for the Atlanta Hawks. It comes from the philosophy of Lenny Wilkins, the NBA's all-time winningest coach. He was a great defensive player.
Ewing. And back comes Augman. Long. Augman in a battle with Mason. Anthony Mason has hit 5 out of 6. He has 10 points. And the Hawks are up 59-48.
His width, his shoulders and arm, upper body strength made that move look quite easy.
Andrew Lang had it slapped away and then comes up short. Starks. And Long with his very first rebound. Augman put the ball on the floor and drew the foul. Hold on Oakley. I mentioned that the Hawks have been playing improved defense recently. They had 9 steals Wednesday in the win over Denver. They've been averaging better than 10 steals per game over the last 13. Bad pass. That's a steal for Mason.
The man who leads them in that department threw that ball away. That was Blaylock, and John Starks from the deep corner on that jump shot.
59-50 Atlanta. The Knicks opened up the second quarter by missing their first 8 shots. They went close to 7 minutes without a field goal. Blaylock for 3. So that's his third from downtown. And the Hawks are up by 12. Shot clock is at 6. Hopper for 3. Steve Smith pushes it down. Long met on a switch by Starks. Blaylock again for 3. Pat Riley calls for time. It's a 20-second timeout taken by the Knicks, who are now down by 15. Atlanta is led by as many as 16 points.
Good ball movement by the Hawks to the hands, the sure hands of Mookie Blaylock, who on February 24th against the Washington Bullets broke the Atlanta Hawks season record for 3-point shots in 1 year. And in the prior game against Dallas, Mookie also got his 3,000th career assist. So Mookie Blaylock, who came to Atlanta rather quietly from New Jersey, has made himself a very valuable member.
There's Craig Elo, who has been sitting it out, recovering from arthroscopic knee surgery. To his right, Jim Less, another member of the Hawks, who's out with a stress fracture of the left foot.
Craig Elo is expected to be back in the middle of April.
Craig Elo following Coach Lenny Wilkins to Atlanta. Andrew Lang providing a 17-point lead for the Hawks, their biggest lead of the night.
Boy, this reminds me of the only other visit here this year, Marv, when the Knicks lost that disappointing game. And Pat Riley afterwards said, we don't have a road mentality. That's what it looks like here for the Knicks tonight. They're not playing with the intensity at all that they play with at home, and in many games on the road this year. Since the time that Pat said that, after that game in Atlanta, the Knicks have had terrific success on the road. But tonight, they have reverted back with their defensive intensity lacking.
8-0 run by the Hawks. They double up on Smith. There's Smith trying to post up on Starks. Lang keeps it alive.
Oakley and Mason with their hands down had that ball go right by them into the hands of the Hawks.
Blaylock with the steal. Smith for three. On the back tap comes to Smith for Blaylock. A three for Blaylock. And the Hawks now lead by 20.
You know, this is one of those horrible nights for a coach. The Knicks are in the latter part of a 4-game and 5-night stretch. Looking like they don't want to play.
It's only natural that children look to their parents for answers. So to help you explain why some things that may be fine for adults aren't right for children, Anheuser-Busch offers Family Talk, free advice from professionals to use with your kids while they're still learning to be grown up. And their favorite teacher is you. Let's stop underage drinking before it starts.
Final call.
We've got to move fast, Kirby. I hope you booked Hertz.
Not exactly, but this company's fast. As fast as Hertz #1 club goal? Not exactly, but they do have a special place to pick up the car.
Like Hertz?
Not exactly, but it'll be waiting.
Under a canopy? With the keys in it?
Not exactly.
And protected from the weather?
Not exactly.
In Rent-A-Car, there's Hertz and there's not exactly. Make sure you choose the right one.
Counting on that promotion, Kirby?
No, not exactly.
We were looking for the most significant vehicle in the market. We weighed technological advancement, value, and performance. Introducing Chrysler Cirrus, Motor Trend's Car of the Year. Chrysler Cirrus. It's not just a step above. It's the new plateau.
Reminder, tomorrow, 7:30 start on MSG2. It's the Rangers and the Montreal Canadiens right here on MSG. Rangers playing very well recently, picking it up after the slow start. Rangers and Canadiens, that's tomorrow night from the Forum in Montreal.
Well, there's Lenny Wilkens, who became the NBA's all-time winningest coach this season on January 6th. When Atlanta defeated the Washington Bullets at the Omni. Broke Red Auerbach's NBA record of 938 career victories. There's a look at Lenny in an uncharacteristic pose, honoring Red, who always had the cigar after a win. Pete Babcock congratulating him. Pete, general manager of the team.
And Lenny Wilkens' Hawks with a 20-point lead on the Knicks, and another steal for Blaylock. So following the timeout, the Knicks turn it over. Long. The Hawks going at a blistering pace, and they now lead 72-50. Ewing rejected, but it's a goaltend. The basket counts. Ewing had missed 6 of his previous 7 shots. So he's now 4 for 15. Has not had a good one here tonight at the Omni. Lang squaring up and shooting.
Knicks looking for some inspiration now, collectively, and all in the same position here, as no one's able to stand out. Everybody's trying, but it's just not happening for them.
Shot clock at 6. Hopper. Ed Riley trying to shuffle, getting set to send on Greg Anthony. Mookie Blaylock and Steve Smith working it around. Stacey Augmon.
I also think, Marv, although Pat would never say it, that And perhaps I'm incorrect, but he may be thinking ahead to Seattle tomorrow at the Garden. Doesn't want to wear out certain members of the team, perhaps, because that will be the 4th game in 5 nights for the Knicks.
Long called for the offensive foul. Well, at this point, I would think he still feels he can win the ball game. Maybe 4th quarter will start if the score remains the same way. The big lead for Atlanta. I can see perhaps a emptying of the bench a little bit earlier.
Well, what I'm thinking is that he may go to the position that it's going to take a lot of people to win this one and contribute. Why wear out everybody or a couple of key guys in the process?
Shot clock at 4. Ewing. Once again, a good defensive sequence by the Hawks. Augman now posting up Bonner. Augman. Blaylock reaching in. Neely came up with another steal. Shot clock at 5. Anthony not able to hit. We're just under 4 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. Long. And both clubs having their difficulties. Well, the Knicks had only 13 points in the 2nd quarter. That was one off a season low. And thus far here in the 3rd quarter, they have scored only 6 points. They've been outscored 15-6. Reach-in foul. Hawks collapsing on Ewing, and Augman is called for the foul.
The Hawks do as good a job, I believe, as any team in the league at doubling and tripling Patrick Ewing. They wait for him to dribble, and then they're on him quickly. And they come at him from angles that take away his vision, so it's difficult for him to find the open man.
Augman sitting down. Norman is back. Ken Norman had the strong first half. Ewing. Patrick Ewing is 4 for 17. That bench scoring reflected by the work of Norman.
That has been a pattern over the last 9 games. They've been outscoring the opposition by 5 points on the average.
Well, Norman with 16 of those points. Shot clock at 4. Norman able to bank it home, and he was played tightly.
He's just having a grand old time out there. Norman doing a lot of smiling.
22-point lead for the Hawks. Mason, it will count, and the foul. Foul committed by Grant Long, and a timeout called by the Knicks. 2:36 to go in the 3rd.
Catch the highlights from the Evian Indoor AVP Pro Beach Volleyball Championships Sunday on MSG.
Universal Tool of Mastic, Long Island's leader in tool sales, service, and rentals, is proud to bring you the leader in power tools, Bosch Power Tools. They let you cut quicker, drill faster, and they have the best jackhammer in the world. Bosch is the name real pros use, and Universal Tool is where they go to get Bosch toughness, Bosch reliability, Bosch power. And remember, Universal Tool delivers. Located in Mastic and their new location in Farmingdale. Call 420-1420.
Bob Nystrom for my good friends at East Hills Jeep Eagle in Roslyn. Whether you want to buy or lease the luxurious and practical Jeep Grand Cherokee or the sporty Jeep Wrangler, the car that legends are made of, you're certain to find the best deals anywhere, right here at East Hills Jeep Eagle in Roslyn. East Hills Jeep Eagle in Roslyn. Big selection, low prices, and plenty of smiling faces. If you're shopping around for
Wantor Mitsubishi unleashes the power of the price wizard.
Your price is my command, and I'm granting powerful deals.
The 95 Galant ES at prices you've only dreamed of. 95 Eclipses at prices you won't find in Newsday. 95 Montero leasing at hundreds less. Wantor Mitsubishi sells and leases more in 1 month than most dealers do all year.
Wantor Mitsubishi, put my power to work for you.
Coming Knicks schedule has the Knicks home tomorrow against the Seattle Supersonics. Knicks game night at 8 o'clock, 8:30 start to that game. Tuesday, it's the Denver Nuggets at the Garden. And March 17th, next Friday, the Knicks will visit the Washington Bullets, the improved Bullets.
Tomorrow night, the first meeting of the season between the Knicks and the Seattle Supersonics. Where this one is going, I think there are many in the Knick camp who would like to fast forward past what has taken place here. Not to say that things can't turn, but it has really been a very poor performance by the Knicks. Horrendous second quarter, only 13 points. They went almost 7 minutes without a field goal. Down by the count of 74-54. Steve Smith adding to that lead as we come up on 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Greg Anthony now in the backcourt, along with Hubert Davis, Anthony Mason, Anthony Bonner, Patrick Ewing up front. Mason able to power his way. 14 for Mason, who has connected on 7 of 8 from the field. It's a 20-point Atlanta lead.
This is the first game in 4 against the Hawks that Anthony Mason has been in double figures.
Open shot for Norman. Ken Norman with 21 points, hitting from downtown.
See, the Hawks are continuing throughout this game to find an open man, and the defense isn't arriving at all, it seems. So it's a question of work and awareness of how the Hawks are playing. The Knicks are just not able to stay with them, effort-wise, energy-wise.
Patrick Ewing continues to struggle. 4 of 18 from the field.
Patrick hasn't taken any to the basket tonight, as well as he's relied on that jump shot throughout.
Shot clock at 3. They double up on Smith. 24-second violation.
24-second shot clock violation at Atlanta.
1 minute remaining in this third quarter. Laylock looking for his 4th steal of the night. Davis. Hubert Davis has been hot in recent weeks. This a rare off performance. Goes to the left-hand drive, and it's handled by Blaylock. Able to push it in a hurry for Smith. Nice recovery as Smith was able to find the cutter. Steve Smith for Ken Norman. 81-56 Hawks.
Knicks going with a set play. Greg Anthony now double teamed.
Bonner. Anthony Bonner a bit out of his normal range. Here comes Anthony off the turnover. Greg Anthony, yes, that's a 3 with 3 seconds left in the quarter. Blaylock got it off and hits. 3-pointer from Mookie Blaylock at the horn.
How about Steve Smith's presence to give it to him when he couldn't get the shot up? Smith now double teamed. Going for the shot, then flips it over to Mookie. Shot put style, and right on the money.
It's not just how you play the game. It's how you call for the ball.
Come on, baby, I got him. Give me the rock, baby. Look up. For the road. Yo, yo. Ah! Look at honey, baby. Come on. Hit me off. Ah! Yeah, yeah.
If you're talking my game,
You don't know, you better ask somebody.
you're talking Foot Locker.
Every year, thousands of accidents occur because drivers momentarily take their eyes off the road. To help prevent this, our engineers have spent countless hours perfecting the Nissan Maxima's ergonomics. Shapes have been scrutinized, and key buttons have been sculpted to be recognized by touch alone. At Nissan, the slightest detail counts, because on the road, the slightest second counts. The Maxima from Nissan.
There are no blue ribbons for doing the little things. No tributes for just keeping your sense of humor. But the men who give their best every day deserve our best. Gillette Series Shaving Gel with advanced lubricants for incredible smoothness, Sensor Excel with microfins, and Gillette Aftershave Conditioner for extra comfort. Together, Gillette's best shave. And sometimes that's its own reward. Gillette, the best a man can get.
Go deep, Goofy. Come into any Nobody Beats the Wiz store and enter to win an all-star vacation to Walt Disney World. Nobody beats the Wiz.
New York Knicks basketball is brought to you in part by Hertz. For business, for pleasure, nobody does it exactly like Hertz. By Perry Ellis Menswear. And by Nissan. It's time to expect more from a car.
Fourth quarter underway, and Greg Anthony hits a driving shot moving from the left. So the Hawks now lead 84-61.
That was a beautiful drive by Greg and protecting that ball, using his body.
Bonner got a piece of it. Norman on the recovery. And Anthony gets it down. Bonner's pass intended for Ewing. Here's Norman behind the back, fouled by Davis.
Moments ago to open up the fourth quarter, Greg Anthony, watch how he protects that ball. Executes a beautiful shot off the backboard, beating the bigger guys.
Herb Williams checking in, replacing Patrick Ewing. Ewing 4 of 18 from the field. Blaylock not guarded by Anthony. The Knicks with only 13 points in the third quarter after scoring only 13 in the second. Norman on the follow. Ken Norman.
The Knicks are being out-quicked, it seems, in every loose ball situation around the basket tonight.
25 for Norman. He's the high man. Ken Norman spent 6 years with the LA Clippers, a year with Milwaukee, a very unhappy season, a disappointing campaign. And heard it from the crowd in Milwaukee. Dealt to Atlanta. And he's done it coming off the bench the last couple of games. Smith coming up short. Bonner. And the foul is called. Grant Long picks up his third. In the third quarter, the Knicks 6 of 19 from the field, and the Hawks 11 of 20. This game started in promising fashion for the Knicks offensively. They had 33 points in the first quarter. But since then, an embarrassingly low 13 in the second, 13 in the third.
I think you have to credit, Marv, the reason for that, the tenacity and commitment to defense by the Hawks. That set a tone, and that tone then was backed up with some very good shooting. And the combination of off defense initially and then the offense that got into swing for the Hawks was not responded to in kind by the Knicks. So I just think the Knicks are tired. I think this is one of those nights in 82 games, and there are probably a handful of those that happen to every team, that they just don't have it. And it happens. It's human.
high-point men in the game. Norman with 25. Blaylock, who has the ball, with 24. Blaylock was 4 for 4 from the field in the third. All 4 shots from downtown. It's a kick ball. New 24 awarded to the Hawks. Mookie overall 9 of 15. 6 of 8 from three-point land. Anthony with the steal. Anthony protecting the ball, looking back at Blaylock, not taking any chances.
And also making the most advantage of the playing time that Pat Riley is giving him now more and more. And tonight, served it up to Greg, and Greg is doing it.
86-65, Atlanta. Norman rejected by Williams, and Doug Christie getting set to check in. So Christie getting some playing time as he replaces Hubert Davis. 4 on the shot clock. Anthony with the steal. Has Bonner with him. Here's Bonner. Lost it. Lost the grip. And the crowd enjoys it. John, I've told you many times, when you want to stuff, as you know, you got to make sure you have the complete hand on the ball.
That's why, Marv, I used to wear Stickum in pregame warm-ups.
Foul on Long. So that's 4 on Long. And it will be Nick Ball. Here is the missed dunk of the game, John.
Bonner going in for that slam dunk, and he just could not control that basketball. And there wasn't time in the middle of the play to run out and get some Stickum, so the ball would stick to his hand.
And Grant Long will sit down. Tyrone Corbin is back. Anthony using the pick. Monty Williams has checked in for the first time. And Anthony fouled by Norman.
See, the problem, Marv, I don't know if you would relate to this, but when you wear Stickum,
yes,
after it wears a little bit, it collects dust, and as a result, you lose your touch when you're shooting the basketball because your hand is kind of dusty. So you have to make a decision. If you're going to go with the Stickum route, then you better look good in warm-ups, because in the game you're not going to look good. You're going to be missing your shots.
My experience with Stickum was only as a pass-catching phenom. Not in basketball. I think, I mean, from what I've read about your career, you had enough problems shooting the ball. Why would you use Stickum?
Because you want to look good in warm-ups and dunk a few if you don't have that ability to soar, you know.
But that's a distraction, John. I didn't think that
well, you're in college.
You would get into that.
When you're in college, you know, you want to be like the big guys.
You were mature at 6. I would think that you wouldn't get involved in that kind of stuff.
Well, you learn something.
And Dick Pavetta blowing the whistle. And he's called the foul on Monty Williams. So the Knicks have Herb Williams, Anthony Bonner, and Monty Williams up front. Greg Anthony in the backcourt along with Doug Christie. Christie battling for position against the Plastic Man. And they get it to Augment. Shot clock at 7. Blaylock lost it, and it carried out of bounds. But last touch by the Knicks. Actually, the Hawks were walking back up court. They felt it was kicked out of bounds by Norman. So it will be Hawk ball 4 on the 24. But first, a timeout is called by Lenny Wilkens. 22nd timeout taken with 7:53 to go in this fourth quarter. It is a rout. The Hawks 86 and the Knicks 67. And this appears to be one that is headed in the direction of among the worst performances of the season by the New York Knicks. I think back to the 25-point blowout in Orlando. Bad one against Miami. Any other suggestions, John?
No, Marv. All I could think of is what's going through Pat Riley's mind, and that is, I don't think that he's going to be full of anger and disappointment at his team. I think they just, as I mentioned earlier, just ran out of gas, and he's letting the bench guys get some very important playing time and to see what they can do, and maybe they can shake things up and catch the Hawks off guard now.
Blaylock fires it. Nearly put it down again with the shot clock running down. And Bonner turns it over. Blaylock with steal number 4. The Knicks have shot only 8 for 23 from the field in the second half. Offensive foul. Basket won't count. Foul on Lang.
Monty Williams offered himself up on this play. Lang, a strong guy. And Monty made the decision and succeeded in one sense, but incurred that big body on him in the other hand.
Well, things have turned around in the rebounding department. Outside official, Will Spooner, blowing the whistle and apparently detecting some blood. So Anthony Bonner will be checked out and the crowd reacts. A favorite in this area, and actually we have discovered throughout the country, Charlie Ward, the rookie from Florida, particularly popular in the South. And here's the applause as he checks in. And Ward, wasting no time, pops it. Rebounded by Norman.
Charlie will never impress by doing that exclusively, which is what he has seemed to have done in his limited time.
Charlie is now 1 for 12 from the field. This is 8th NBA appearance.
I just can't believe he'd come off the bench and fire a 3 like that.
Foul is called. Atlanta is actually scoreless for the last 3 minutes and 46 seconds. Herb Williams on the foul, which tells us, despite the fact they have not been able to score in almost 4 minutes, they still lead 86-67. Tells us the Knicks have not done very much. Timeout taken. We'll be right back.
You're playing for Bud Light, ladies. The boys are back in town.
These guys are good. Who are you calling guys?
Because when you're outnumbered millions to 1, you need all the help you can get. Now get great values on Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo.
There's only one Jeep, and it's only at your tri-state Jeep and Eagle dealers.
Junior Knicks fans, you can now become a member of the Knicks Fan Club presented by Modell's Sporting Goods. Each member gets terrific team merchandise, an official membership certificate, and a badge, plus the Out of Bounds newsletter 4 times a year. For an application, call 201-784-9600.
Well, John, during the timeout, Tyrone Brown of the Harlem Globetrotters, who will be coming to the Omni next week, putting on a little dribbling exhibition.
I think Tyrone has spent a lot of time with the round ball, Marv. Unbelievable how much practice one would have to go through to handle a ball like Tyrone Brown.
Stacey Augmon with only his 6th point of the night.
We like to call him TB.
Yes.
Like the Knicks call Anthony Bonner AB, etc. We may have to go on to things like this, Marv, if this flow continues.
John, I think the schedule may have caught up with you.
That was HW on that jumper.
And the Hawks now lead 88-69 with 6.5 remaining in the 4th quarter.
HW, Herb Williams, was the subject, he and his family, of a very nice story in the New York Times the other day about a big man and how the house is designed for taller people. Nice publicity for the quiet man on the Knicks.
Offensive foul on Stacey Augmon. So it's Charlie Ward and Greg Anthony in the backcourt. Herb Williams, Monty Williams, and Doug Christie up front. The reverse on the alley-oop by Monty Williams. And the basket will count. It's a goaltend. So Monty Williams gets credit for the field goal. We're down to 6 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter. The Knicks were at the other end of this type situation in Boston on Wednesday night. They saw the Celtics climb back into it. Anthony with the opening. And the Hawks now lead 88-73.
Preceded by the double teaming by Charlie Ward and a successful steal, which enabled Greg Anthony to get that very interesting hoop.
12-2 run by the Knicks. Oh, the block by Christie. That got the Knick bench up. Doug Christie with the rejection, so 7 on the 24 remaining.
Well, Christie's timing was perfect. His teammates loved it.
Steve Smith checking back in, and the matchup is Anthony against Smith. That's a 3. Mookie Blaylock with another three-pointer. He's hit 5 of 8 from downtown in the second half alone. Anthony for 3. And the rebound of the box out handled by Norman. The Hawks lead 91-73. Just under 5 minutes remaining in the fourth.
Lenny Wilkins is not fooling around with this lead. He's got his important people on the court throughout the second half.
Now he has not cleared the bench. Last touch by Christie with 2 on the shot clock.
You know, George Karl, the Seattle Supersonics coach, I'm sure is watching this game, or certainly taping it so he can watch it early tomorrow. But he knows.
Can you feel that he's taping?
I do. I feel George's presence. But you know that he knows that this is not the Knicks team he's going to see at the Garden tomorrow night. And therefore, he's wasting his time watching this game.
Down to 5 on the shot clock, and it's a traveling violation on Corbin.
George, go to a movie. Get out and enjoy the city. You only come here once a year.
Coming up on 4 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Herb Williams' pass nearly picked off by Mookie Blaylock. And Christie lost it to Smith. Steve Smith comes out of the pack with the basketball and then is hit by Charlie Ward. It is a non-shooting foul. Again, the mismatch with Smith setting up against Anthony. Got it to Lang, and Lang is fouled. Andrew Lang will go to the line. Last season, the Hawks, one of the NBA's surprise teams. They led the Central Division, record of 57-25. They finished 2 games in front of the Chicago Bulls. 57 wins, a team record. In the playoffs, they knocked off Miami in the first round. 3-2, and then lost in the second round.
Andrew Lang has become a different player. Talk about improving his shooting. Career 71%, 84 this year. And he's had long streaks also. Successful foul shooting.
Anthony to the driving hook, and Corbin with the rebound. Coming up on 3 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Foul on the play. Basket will not count. Foul on Herb Williams. So Steve Smith to the free throw line. Steve Steve Smith in his 4th year out of Michigan State, member of Dream Team 2. His stock actually went down. Did not get the kind of playing time that he anticipated.
There's so much talent there, though, that the Hawks have been believing in him and been getting some terrific play from him.
And Mookie Blaylock departs. 27 points for Mookie. Timeout taken. The Hawks lead by 21.
Save me! Save me! Save me! I'm being held here at Franklin Square Ford.
The bench, here is John with Ken Norman.
Thank you, Marv. Ken, you have developed into a point-a-man player now. During your career, you started a lot of games. Now you're coming off the bench, and you're red hot these days after your 33-point performance the other night in 26 minutes. What does it take to do that night in and night out?
Well, I've just been lucky. I can't consistently do that. You know, I've just, you know, been told to be a real aggressive when I go into the game, look for my shot. I've got some good looks at the basket, and I've been fortunate enough to make some shots.
What is the potential of the Atlanta Hawks? You're on your playoff team. You're on the verge of 7th, 8th position. How good do you think this team can be? Can you play better than you did tonight?
No, I don't think so. Not against a quality team like the Knicks. You know, we came out, we really were on top of our game, and they weren't. You know, as we talked about, he said they have like four games in 5 nights. So I think that hurt them a little. But when we're on top of our game, we're capable of playing with any team in the league. Which we're developing some consistency now, and I think that if we can continue that throughout the regular season and into the playoffs, we can be a tough team.
What does Lenny Wilkens stress to this team? Your team is vastly different now as a defensive team. Is that what the main focus is?
Yeah, well, obviously, you know, we're not a great scoring team, so we have to. Our concentration is picking their guards up in the full court defensively and making it tough for the team once they get it in the front court, because and rebound the basketball, because we're at our best when we're going up and down. And it all starts with our defense. It really starts with Mookie. You know, he's a great defender, and he runs the show for us. He's having an outstanding season. So you know, as Mookie rolls, we roll.
Ken, you have had some up and down moments in your career. You've always been a prolific scorer. You spent a lot of frustrating moments with the Clippers, as it seems every member of the Clippers franchise seems to be frustrated. And you were a little unhappy in Milwaukee in your time there, which was rather brief. Are you a happy Hawk these days?
Oh, yeah, well, you know, I'm one of the few players that came from the Clippers that I really have nothing bad to say about those guys. I enjoyed my 6 years out there. But last year in Milwaukee, you know, I went there to win. You know, I could have basically gone a lot of places, but I wanted to go there because I felt like we could win there. You know, we had the makings of developing a good team there. And once, you know, positioning for the lottery was more important than winning, that really frustrated me, and I was unhappy about it. And you know, I let it be known. Here, I'm very happy. I'm not playing as much as I'd like to be. But, you know, I'm a team player, and Lenny wants me to come off the bench in a limited role, so I'm trying to deal with that and make the best of it and help this team win.
How is it playing for Lenny Wilkens?
It's great. It's great. You know, I've never met a more positive person in my whole life. He's a real positive guy. That's not even talking about the basketball. He's a great man. And, you know, the main thing about him is that he doesn't try to kill you in practice. I think he realizes that, you know, it's a rough physical game and that you need your legs and your stamina for the games. And, you know, I truly hope that I can finish my career playing for him, whether I'm playing 30 minutes or 2 minutes a night.
Kenny, after one of your hoops tonight, you expressed your happiness and feelings with a little interesting response. Tell us about this. Mark Jackson teach you that with the Clippers?
To be honest, yeah, I did steal that from Mark. Well, we call it the Snake Shake out here in Atlanta. What's up, New York?
You are known as the Snake, of course, with your slippery moves around the basket. Does Lenny Wilkens get on you when you do things like that?
No, actually, he said that, you know, it's quite humorous and that sometimes it gets the guys going. And I guess that's part of my job, coming off the bench, to get guys going as well as myself. But, you know, I do it, but I'm not, I don't do it to taunt the other team. I do it to, you know, get our crowd into it, get myself going a little more. You know, I'm not trying to taunt anyone. I'm just doing it in fun.
Kenny, you're obviously a very loose guy, a very relaxed guy on the court, off the court. It's been a pleasure talking to you. We hope you have good times here with your years with Atlanta, and thanks for spending a few minutes.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Kenny Norman, very nice interview and a charming guy, Marv. I hope you enjoyed it, and let's go back to Marv Albert now.
All right, John. Yes, the snake shake capturing the imagination of the Southeast. We'll be back with more in a moment.
It's 3 a.m. and you've got to get the year's most important contract to your company's biggest client overseas. And guess what? The fax just won't go through. What are your options? Well, now there's a new option. Call 1-800-THROUGH-FAX, and AT&T's International Fax Service Center will help you solve the problem. Only AT&T guarantees to get your international fax there. Or we'll send it overnight. AT&T, for the life of your business.
From Gillette comes a uniquely different form of protection for men. Gillette Clear Gel Antiperspirant. Unlike a stick that can stay in your underarm hair, this is a soft gel. It goes cleanly through the hair right down to the skin surface to fight odor and wetness.
To get close to the action.
Okay, now. 3 guys on the bottom stacked. On the bottom, pyramid play is what I call it. I come around but the guy on top vaults in a carnival-like way. Oh! I'm cramping. Whoa! Whoa! Does your mouth guard taste like banana? That's security, right? I gotta go.
Next time, Ed should check the sports stadium map in the 9X yellow pages. 9X. More information, more solutions, more stuff.
Back in Atlanta again, the final score of the Hawks 108 and the Knicks 81. So the Knicks 4-game win streak is stopped. The Hawks playing well. They have taken 10 of the last 14, and they are now at the 500 mark. The Knicks back at Madison Square Garden tomorrow night. Knicks game night will get it rolling as the Knicks take on the Seattle Supersonics, hoping to turn it around from a dismal performance tonight here at the Omni. The Knicks post-game report is coming up in a moment, and we'll hear the comments from Pat Riley. Madison Square Garden announcers' clothing is provided by Perry Ellis Menswear. Stay with us on MSG. We'll be back with the post-game report.
New York Knicks basketball has been brought to you by Beechwood Aged Budweiser. It's always been true. This Bud's for you. By Old Spice High Endurance Deodorant and Alcohol-Free Sensitive Aftershave. By AT&T International Business Services. Let AT&T work for you. By the Discover Card. It pays to discover the card that pays you back. And by Nike, who encourages you to participate in the lives of America's youth.
Hungry? Want Knicks tickets? Want a new Eagle Vision TSI? Enter the Reese's Eagle Vision TSI Big Shot Contest for your chance to take center court at a Knicks game to shoot for the grand prize, a 1995 Eagle Vision TSI. Lucky winners will receive 2 tickets to a Knicks home game, dinner at Reese's legendary Toot Shore restaurant, and a shot at winning an Eagle Vision TSI. To enter, stop by any participating Reese restaurant for your official entry form. Knicks fans, the official yearbook of the 1994-95 New York Knicks is here. This 140-page edition gives you a close-up look at the entire team with full-color action photos, plus photos from last year's exciting charge to the NBA Finals. Even a special section commemorating the silver anniversary of the Knicks' first World Championship team. For your copy, send $11 check or money order to Knicks Yearbook, 2 Penn Plaza, New York, New York, 10121. Attention, Debbie.
The New York Knicks postgame report is brought to you by Citibank. For banking anytime, anywhere, any way you choose. At Citibank, the city never sleeps.
Welcome back to the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia. Crowd of better than 14,000. To be precise, 14,596. Just short of a sellout. And most of them enjoyed what they saw as the Hawks ripped the Knicks 108-81. A look at the final statistics. The Knicks only 40% shooting. The Hawks at 46%. The Hawks 14 of 29 from downtown, and also had the decisive edge off the boards. That was turned around in the second half. 27 assists for Atlanta, only 18 for the Knicks. Look at the leading scorers summary brought to you by your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers. There's only one Jeep, and it's only at your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers. Outstanding games for Mookie Blaylock and Ken Norman. 27 for Mookie on 10 of 19, 7 of 12 from beyond the three-point line. Norman had 25 points. He had 5 three-pointers, 5 of 11. 16 for Steve Smith, 8 apiece for Lang and Long. While the Knicks, led by John Stark, 6 of 13. He had 4 of 8 from three-point land. 17 points for Starks. Mason, 7 of 8 for his 14. Anthony had 13. Patrick Ewing, one of those nights, 33 minutes, only 4 of 18 from the field, only 9 points. And we'll be back in a moment, and we'll hear what Pat Riley has to say right after this.
The New York Knicks postgame report is brought to you by Citibank. For banking anytime, anywhere, any way you choose. At Citibank, the city never sleeps.
What they tell you if you can get other people to join. And it's almost like a pyramid thing.
There's no circles, no work with AT&T True Savings. Spend just $10 a month and you'll save 25% off your AT&T bill. Guaranteed. Call 1-800-PICK-ATT today.
I'm looking for something simple it's going to save me money.
And simple is always better.
True Savings is simple. Call anyone, anytime, anywhere in the U.S. and save 25%. Guaranteed.
Just give me a good, rate right off the bat.
4 out of 5 customers will save more with True Savings versus friends and family. Switch today, and we'll switch you free.
That's switched from AT&T to MCI and back to AT&T.
Your true voice.
Well, the Atlanta Hawks get a split of the season series with the New York Knicks. This the 4th and final meeting, and they each win 2. For the Hawks, a blowout, 108-81. Now for the post-game comments of Knick coach Pat Riley.
I don't think I have to really discuss that. I mean, it was just a, real bad performance, against a team that's playing well, and they just, kicked us every which way. Butts kicked, many questions.
How can they come up with a game like this?
Well, how can they come up with a game like this? Well, we won 8 out of 10, so maybe it's time. We've been talking for 2 weeks about rebounding, about defense. We've been stroking the ball, playing good offense, and sometimes you forget about what you are as a team. We don't have one player right now on a consistent basis that translates into a collective effort thinking defense and rebounding first. We don't. It's obvious. We think we can outscore teams, and I don't think that's our game. So until we develop a defensive disposition first and be able to handle as a team a little adversity, when things don't go your way, we just sort of came apart at the seams, mentally, physically, and spiritually.
Was Patrick hurt early in the game, or did he just have an off night?
No, I thought he came strong. He was up on that board the first 5-6 minutes of the game, and he had about 10 point-blank shots. I'd love to have him get those shots every night. He's missing little jump hooks, and it was not going in for him. So, but I think his spirit and heart was right there. He was very, very frustrated as a leader tonight. I'm telling you.
After Patrick fell, when he fell on the floor.
No, he was okay. He took a hit. I think he was okay when he came back in, but I thought he was, we had a good first quarter. We had a good 4 minutes. We hit 4 threes and we thought we were playing great. And then all of a sudden, it went the other way. You know, we had one good run in this all night. It was 4.5 minutes long. And then it went out the door.
Was John bothered by his shoulder? It looked like he kind of pulled it out again.
He pulled it one time. You know, one of the forays to the basket in transition.
It's funny to see hit the shots, and they seem to think that they're playing well, but second quarter starts, they start taking away first options, and they'll start working the ball, and you take jump shots, and it sort of goes right downhill.
Well, the unit we had out there, we had a good unit in Boston. Same unit, played well for 5, 6, 7 minutes, and we got caught at a 14-0 run at the top of the court. But again, it was all defensive oriented. You know, we missed 4 or 5 decent shots. Everything turned into a layup. They scored every single time down the court. I mean, we just do not make enough stops right now. And, you know, we spent 30 minutes this morning trying to prepare with certain parts of our defense activate, and actually played harder in the shoot-around than we did in the game. We don't translate it right now. So until we get a real disposition back, we're going to get our heads handed to us, you know, performances like that defensively, transition, second shots, whatever. When it goes bad, sometimes it goes all the way.
Is it just a matter of not having all your forwards out there at the same time? Is it a matter of not always having one of your front court guys injured? It seems like for the last...
No, I don't think that. I don't think that. You know, I mean, we've had injuries all year long, and, you know, we survived Oak for a lot of games, and, you know, we just we have to do what we do best, okay?
Well, Pat Riley emphasizing the fact that it certainly did go bad tonight here at the Omni against the Atlanta Hawks. The Knicks equaling a season low with the 81 points. The Atlanta Hawks with that 108-81 victory. Let's check in once again with Mike Crispino at the MSG Sports Desk.
All right, thanks very much, Mark. Coming up at 11 from the Sports Desk, the Big East Tournament quarterfinals here at Madison Square Garden. We'll have the highlights, and we'll have sound coming from the locker rooms of the winners and losers this afternoon and tonight. And a complete NBA scoreboard coming up, Orlando and Portland, and how the Nets did in Boston against the Celtics at Boston Garden. In the NHL, we'll have the Devils traveling to Tampa Bay to play the Lightning. Marie Craven is traded east by the Vancouver Canucks. And the Giants have signed some help for their defensive line. And believe it or not, they've robbed the New England Patriots, so they've returned to favor there. The Miami Dolphins have a new tight end. We'll tell you about his new 6-year long-term deal. Details on those stories and more coming up at 11 from the MSG Sports Desk. We hope you'll join us.
Okay, the shot's set, everyone's smiling, and then no flash. Next time, use Energizer batteries that nobody beats the Wiz. They just keep on going.
The envy of the neighborhood, a Pool Doctor swimming pool. An asset to your home that makes the sweltering summer heat your favorite pastime. While other Long Islanders are fighting beach traffic, breathing auto exhaust, and burning their feet trying to find their own little plot of shoreline, the hardest decision you have is what time should you go outside. Year after year, award after award, Pool Doctor builds Long Island's finest pools and spas. Call the Pool Doctor and see for yourself. 368-1330.